and welcome back to Combat Mission Shock Force 2, where we're going to take a look at Canadian Mechanized Infantry platoons. They get about in LAV3s. I've already covered those in a more in-depth video that I'll link down below, so here we're going to be focusing on the dismounts. These follow a pretty familiar NATO-style organisation. Sections are made up of identical fire teams. Each fire team is led by the section or team leader armed with a C7. Then we have a light machine gunner with a C9, a grenadier with the C7A2 M203 combo, and a rifleman with another C7. We've seen all these weapons before in SF2, they're also used by the Dutch. The C7 is from the AR-15 family, it's chambered for 5.56 NATO, comes with a 3.4 times LCAN optic as standard, and can be fired in single shot or fully automatic. The C9 is the FN Mini-Me, or the M249 SAW if you're American, so it's a squad automatic weapon or light machine gun. It also fires 5.56, so there's total ammo compatibility, but it doesn't have an optic. Finally, the M203 is the classic 40mm underbarrel grenade launcher. Each section has two of these four-man teams. Together they carry 4,060 rounds of 5.56, 16 HE and 8 HEDP grenades for the M203s, and 3 one-shot disposable M72A7 66mm light anti-tank weapons. On top of that, they had the usual NATO equipment, night vision, radios and body armour, though only the section leaders get binoculars. They also have the option to pick up a SRAW M from their vehicle. SRAW M stands for Short Range Anti-Armour Weapon brackets Medium, which is a fancy way of saying Carl Gustav. The Gustav is an 84mm recoilless rifle, so it's got more punch than the small M72s, and it can reliably take on most Syrian tanks, with a couple of caveats. Firstly, it's not a guided weapon, so moving targets are tricky, and the further the target is inside the 700m maximum range, the better. Second, the heat rockets in Shock Force 2 don't carry tandem warheads, so they can be defeated by explosive reactive armour. Each LAV3 has a Gustav in the back, so there's one per section, and they come with 3 heat rockets and 1 high explosive. There are 3 of these rifle sections in the platoon, each with its own LAV3. They're led by the platoon HQ and a 4th or weapons section in a final vehicle. The platoon HQ is just 2 men strong, consisting of the platoon leader and his XO, both with C7A2s. The weapons section is 5 men strong with 2 variants. The first 3 men in the section always form a machine gun team. The leader carries a C7 with the grenade launcher, the gunner carries a C6, aka the FN Mag or GPMG, and the third man carries another C7 and his own body weight in ammunition. That's not a joke. The team carries 1,150 rounds of 7.62 for the C6. This is operating in the light role with just the bipod, and it doesn't have any optics, so the gunner is going to be relying on the section leader and his binoculars to engage targets at long range. The remaining 2 men of the weapons section form either an anti-tank team or a light mortar team. The AT team is just 2 more riflemen, one of whom has the anti-tank specialty, but no actual anti-tank weapon. He's supposed to pick up a Carl Gustav from one of the LAVs. The light mortar team is an entirely separate entity for game engine purposes. It's basically another 2 riflemen operating an M19 60mm mortar. This can fire out to about 800 meters and comes with 18 high explosive and 4 white phosphorus smoke bombs. That's not a lot of ammunition, and there isn't any extra in the vehicle, so definitely in combat mission terms, it's probably best to try and use it to pick off closer range targets. Speaking of extra ammo in vehicles, the LAV3s carry another 2,000 rounds each of 5.56 and 7.62, plus 44 each of 40mm HE and HEDP, so there's plenty to go around. It's also important to remember that the LAVs only come with 2 crew, driver and gunner. One of the dismounts is going to fill the commander's seat. Usually this is the section or the platoon leader. If the vehicle is opened up, the commander will pop up to use the pintle-mounted C6, and 2 more dismounts will use the rear roof hatches. That's something to bear in mind when mounted up. There are some pros and cons. And that's it. It's a very straightforward platoon organisation. Plenty of infantry firepower. The anti-tank capability is a little lackluster, but that's not uncommon at platoon level. I think the interesting dynamic is going to be between the LAVs and the dismounts. The LAVs are very capable with their 25mm cannons, but they're also very fragile, and the infantry are going to need to look after them. They look like they should do pretty well in the platoon patrol. Their runner's up next. I'll link that below when it goes live. In the meantime, if you like to see these videos early and support the channel, you can do so via Patreon and YouTube memberships. Whether you do or not, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.